Good morning, Softball America. Music off. Hello. Gray Robertson, Grace Johnson making her podcast debut today. Tara Henry. We've got a trifecta of softball peeps to talk about the just off the rails nature yet again of another game here at the 2025 Women's College World Series, Champ Series Game 1. Off the rails. Tara, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Again, sorry for the delay. It's totally my bad. As you know, I've got issues with sound. So it's my fault that we're a little bit late, but I'm just so happy to be here. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. I see the chat's already going. So let us know where you're tuning in from, and we'll get started on breaking down the game that was game 1.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Texas wins 2-1. And there's so much to dissect. I'm curious, Grace, as you sit here, this is your first, like Tara and I have been here. Tara's played in this event. You know, we've seen the Women's College World Series. This is your first time, and it's this one. It's this one. How much have you enjoyed kind of getting to experience it all right now, this year in 2025?
It's honestly been so surreal, and it's like, wow, all this is happening now. Like, my first time. Like, I feel like, wait, has it always been this crazy, or is it just because I'm in person? Like, it feels crazier in real life, the atmosphere, the fans, but like, it's honestly been so cool, and I'm so grateful for this experience. Like, going to all these pressers, like all these athletes say, it's been my dream growing up as a little girl, like being here playing on the stage, and like, it's been my dream to be here on this stage covering it. So it's just like a full circle moment, kind of.
Oh, man, I love that. And, we were all witness last night to more insanity in game 1. Tara, do we want to talk about umpire interference? Do we want to talk about obstruction? I think first we got to talk about Reese Atwood.
I'm dropping things. I actually want to hear before we go into that. Sorry, I just dropped the light into the dog bowl. It was a series of unfortunate events right there, everybody. Before we talk about the game, Grace, I don't think everybody even understands what it's like to be at the Women's College World Series. And I know you just went over a few things, but for you, tell us what your favorite moment has been covering this event. Like, what was your like, aha, like this is the coolest thing ever moment for you?
There's so many to choose from. Like, Brady's laughing at me right now because I've just been fangirling, and he's just been like, oh my gosh, like this is normal. And I'm like, what? Honestly, like media day, I was running around getting interviews, and Patty Gasso just passed me on a golf cart, and I'm like, yep, I'm in Oklahoma. I'm here. Like, this is it. But it's just been so cool to just meet all the people that are involved in telling the stories in softball and the players and growing the sport. Like, to say that I'm a part of helping grow the sport and interview players and talk to people who've been in the industry forever and talking to you guys, just I know like I'm still a learner and I'm still learning so much. So it's just cool to just sit there like in the press box with Tara, you and Brady, and just listen to you guys talk about softball and like all your knowledge about softball and just take it in is just like, wow, like I get to do this.
I mean, seeing Patty Gasso in a golf cart is pretty cool, right? Like she's at the top. So I know that I could say this for a lot of people that have messaged me. Like, we're just so happy to have you, Grace. And I think it's so important to us for us to have young talent and have young talent be exposed to some incredible athletes. So just want to thank you for being here and being a part of our team. And we've heard Fang's already saying hello. Fang said hello, Grace.
Hi, Fang.
Look, Grace got a nickname from Cheyenne. I'll pop it up on the screen. Hello. Oh, not that one. Don't block her. Whoops. Okay. Hello to the glorious Grace, gracious Gray, and totally tubular Tara, tuning in under baby cuddles in New Mexico.
Hi, Cheyenne.
It's good stuff.
Love it. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Wow.
Let's go chronologically here. So, because we could dive into Reese, we could dive into obstruction. Let's go in order. Let's start in the very first inning, because I think amongst all the insanity, people forget how the game started, and that was Texas Tech loading the bases with nobody out and not scoring a run. A couple hits, a free pass, and then
was that catcher's interference first inning?
Yeah, yes. Catcher's interference. I still
first error of the day.
free pass. But yeah, people, like that was like 8th on the weird calls that were made in the game list. And then Nyjah Kennedy hit into a double play, and Tara, it just seemed like such a big moment for Texas. Like, everyone was kind of holding their breath at the very start of the game, and it seemed like the Longhorns got to exhale once they got out of a situation. And from that moment, it felt like game on.
Absolutely. And I think that stop in the first inning really set the tone, not only for the Texas defense. I mean, we will get into the Texas defense here in a little bit, but set the tone for the game. And that was a huge stop. Mia Scott has been so incredible at the hot corner for the Longhorns, and reportedly with a torn ACL all season. I mean, doing what she's been able to do at the plate, at third, that was just a huge moment. And big players step up in big moments, and that was the first of it. And Mia Scott, it was a nice grab and quick release throw to Reese, and then Reese receives it, guns it down to first. But just a huge play to start the game, because Texas Tech really had the Longhorns on the ropes. And I believe if they had scored there, that would have been really a different ball game, because Texas Tech would have been on the offensive there. And it just would have been a different mindset, I think, on both ends. But again, I can't say enough about Mia Scott at third base. That was clutch to turning that double play.
Yeah, just her ability to move down the line and snag it. She kind of snow coned it and just...
It wasn't necessarily clean.
Yeah.
But she made it work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was good stuff. And so that kind of, it felt, let Texas ease into the game, because Nyjah was Nyjahing early on. And really the first 4 innings, Tara, was just kind of good old-fashioned, old-school pitcher's duel between Nyjah and Tegan Cavan.
Yes, and I think it was something that we all had expected, right? We thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, a season that has really been a lot of offense. But as we got down to the final 8, as we saw at the Women's College World Series, a lot of close games, a lot of low-scoring games, because that's when you have an ace in the circle. And what makes them both so effective is they can throw a firm fastball, rise ball, down ball, drop, screw for Nyjah, but then it's the off speed. So I hope that players and pitchers that are watching this Women's College World Series, I hope that they understand how important it is to throw at different speeds. Because let me tell you, as a hitter, if you're just sitting one speed and you're just going after the firm stuff, it's a lot easier than having to differentiate between an off speed. So again, when we get to the Women's College World Series, we're seeing these low scoring games, and we're seeing pitchers step up in the circle in Tegan Cavan and Nyjah Kennedy. I know there's been a lot of talk about Nyjah Kennedy, but I have been so impressed with Tegan Cavan, and we didn't know that her grandma had passed that morning during the OU game. And I think we saw a different Tegan in Supers, and then we've seen a different Tegan here at the Women's College World Series. So elite, not throwing through the middle of the plate. She's really working the sides of the plate and throwing to zone. So I have been so impressed with Tegan Cavan and her ability to lead the Longhorns in the circle.
Yeah, and the way, Grace, that she's, again, let the defense play behind her as well. Now, the Texas defense had their issues last night, and we'll talk about that in a moment when we get to the 5th inning. But they've also made a lot of plays behind her these last few weeks.
Yeah, I think Tegan said it best. Like, she's just playing with a lot more confidence this year and just trusting in her stuff. I mean, last year lost in the championship again, and she just said that just left a bad taste in her mouth. And she said that she wanted to come back this year and learn on the experiences after the loss last year. And she just really has honed into her stuff, trust it. And that goes such a long way.
Before we get to the 5th inning, which is where the craziness began, I want to pop up this comment from Cheyenne, not to get distracted, but I need that water bottle. Oh, you mean this one? Well, Grace, where can the people get such water bottles tonight?
If you're here, we will be handing them out. Before you enter, you can take empty water bottles inside. They're empty. Come get them. We had a whole box of them the other day, and they were gone within 10 minutes. So
less than that.
Yeah. You had a line.
I was like, oh, some guy came up to me and said, "Can I have one?" I said, "I'm sorry, I just gave away the last one in this box." He looked at me like I punched his dog. I felt so bad. So, sir, I will be out there with the box, ready to go, passing them out.
We might have a few T-shirts
too.
Pens.
I was gonna
Pens,
say, I
not
know you guys
pens.
have more stuff too.
Oh, we have pens.
We got to get rid of them because they cannot fit in my suitcase.
I mean, look, I know
Yes.
Tom would appreciate 400 pens, but I'm not going to
I'm
bring
like trying
that
to find a
the
shirt.
PTO.
I've got a shirt.
Oh, here we go.
We have some light blue ones. We have some like tannish shirts.
Oh, well, there's some stuff on here. We've got this sweatshirt. Oh, there it goes.
We have one sweatshirt left. It's a large.
One sweatshirt left. We've got a teal. I know we've got teal ones. I know we've got gray. What else? What other colors do we have?
I think we're out of the pink ones.
So I was going to say salmon is gone.
Maybe a dark gray. But yeah. Cool merch.
So come find us. We'll be wandering about. Come hang out at OKC at the Women's College World Series. Champ Series Game 2. Okay, back to Champ Series Game 1. Again, 4 innings, pitcher's duel. Thank you for the balloons. The 5th inning, Tara, is where chaos reigned. Jerry goes to a pinch hitter. Coach Glasgow goes to a pinch hitter. She reaches first pitch attack, reaches on an error. E4. This was one of the 4 errors on the night from Texas. And then Holloman says, I'm going to try and steal. And Reese Atwood throws her out. And, you know, the crowd is oohing the press box. There's like a, wow, what a throw. And then you can see Coach Veach at first base and Coach Glasgow communicating. And Coach Veach was doing this, like, I don't know, 50-50 on obstruction. And Jerry looks down for a second and then holds up the sign. And we look at it, and it's obstruction. This was the talk of social media last night.
Yes.
Everyone was discussing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the obstruction rule is something that we all know needs to be rewritten. I think we're beating a dead horse here, right? Like we know this, right? But technically how the rule is written, she did not give her the leading edge. Now she began her slide, the throw takes her into the runner, and she's out. She's so out. Like it's not even close that the runner is going to be out, but as the rule is written, like I know you guys are upset with the umpires, but like they're literally just enforcing the rules that are decided upon, and it stinks. It's not great for our game, and you can scream and yell from the rooftops, but ultimately this is on the coaches. And for me, I have no remorse here because I know how many coaches vote on the survey. It's like 30%. So coaches, when the rules survey comes out, I hope that you vote on it, and I hope that you discuss how you want to change the game, because it's one thing to sit and complain on social media. It's another thing to do something about it. And I feel very fortunate being raised by Mary Henry, because I just was never able to complain. And don't complain, like Tara, either you can't do anything about it or do something about it. So yes, does the obstructions rule need to change? Of course it does. It's a rules change year, people. Like, get on it, figure it out, get a committee together, figure out what you want that to read in the book, so you can take this out of the onus of the umpires. Yeah. Like, they're just enforcing a rule that is put in the rule book. And this thing about this officiating and yelling at the officials, I'm just sitting here going like, they're just doing what they've been told to do. They're just doing their job. And I know everyone says, oh, it's an interpretation thing. Like, anybody that knows she was blocking the bag with her left foot as she received the ball. Yeah.
She was in an obstructing position. She was just also hosed, which is, I think, like, if I may step on my soapbox, coaches, this is – so I talked about this a little bit with Michelle in the interview on YouTube. Go check it out. But I had, again, friends of mine texting me asking, explain this to me. These are not softball fans. These are people who were watching sports last night and turned on softball because it was an interesting game, who were confused about a result. We are going to lose the casuals. We are going to lose people who are trying to get into softball if this is how this sport works. If she's clearly out, if I'm new to softball and I see somebody thrown out by 4 feet, I think she's out. And if the reason she's not out is because the foot was 6 inches more forward than it needed to be, that doesn't make sense to a regular viewer who's trying to learn about the game and get into the game as we try and grow this sport. So coaches, Like if we're going to make this a good product for everybody, not just softball people, then we've got to make sure that the common sense aspect of these rules comes into play. And I know that there is an out in like there is a judgment clause. We've called it the she's hosed clause for a while in the rule interpretation, but there's also a part of it that kind of negates that by the slide portion. Like if she starts her slide, then that's a way that you can kind of cop out of the she's hosed clause. That's also on the defensive side of the rule book. I had that screenshot sent to me by Andrew Haynes at Texas last night. Very helpful. Like we've got to add the common sense back because we're going to lose the fans that we're trying to gain. And that can't happen right now when the sport is, I feel, gaining as much momentum as I've seen in my 9 years covering it.
I totally agree. But the thing, I feel like we're going to see it again maybe in tonight's game because Tech is such a speedy team. They're aggressive on the base pass. Glasgow is very aggressive. We saw them steal home, right? They're going to steal. And Atwood, being such a great catcher that she is, and throwing them out, like you said, hosed her. I feel like we might see it again tonight.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all that I wanted to get that off my chest because I had a lot of people who were like, this is fun, but I don't understand it. Well,
neither do we.
We're trying to help, but at the same time, like the rule is, all right. Sorry, Tara, what you got?
No, I agree. I mean, I'm just watching the chat. I think there's some good stuff that's happening in the chat. And again, like if you're a runner, why wouldn't you just start your slide anyways?
Yeah.
Like you're just going to start sliding halfway down the line. If it's, if the ball takes the fielder or the catcher up the line, you're going to start sliding anyways. So again, I think it needs to be looked at. And obviously there's a lot of blame being put on the umpires, but again, look at the rule book. Like I know everybody doesn't want to go read the rule book, but that's why we have the rule book. And at some point we're policing everything. And, I kind of miss the days I was sitting here. I kind of miss the days where like the call was the call. Like, and if it was wrong, it was wrong. And you could be mad at the umpire. And then it's like, oh, they missed the call, but they missed the call. And now we're spending 15 minutes in video review. And again, you talk about losing viewers, same thing there. So, I think that this is a work in progress, and hopefully they can come and find a solution that can make this a clearer, more defined, and easier rule for everybody.
One more thing that I'll and then we'll move on. Our friend Quentin Protho made a suggestion last night in the famous group chat about he asked, why are we allowed to challenge obstruction if it's not seen on the field at the time? And I thought that was interesting because in my mind, I equate that to like in football, again, bringing in the casuals, the new fans, that'd be like challenging for a holding call that was not called on the field. Basically, holding and obstruction, those are probably the two calls in sports that I feel like happen all the time that are called kind of whenever, or sometimes not at all, and then seen on review. And I think that's an interesting thought. I don't know, Tara, how you feel about that, but if it's not seen on the field, then like should we allow coaches to just kind of take a shot in the dark like sometimes they did with leaving early a few years ago?
No, I mean that leaving early rule was out of control, leaving early with the home runs. So again, I think that they've got to come like sit together at the NFCA. Maybe they do it there and all sit down and talk about it and look at the scenarios, look at what they've done in other, maybe the international level or in the club level, or maybe take a look at baseball. I know we don't like to say that, but see what we do over there. At some point, we've got to find a solution to this. And again, everyone can sit and complain and get all the impressions and views and likes on social media, but I just implore you to do something about it.
Yeah, I agree. Now, that inning did not end on the obstruction call because Texas Tech had to score, and Maya Davis bloop single out to the outfield. That's how the Red Raiders got on the board, Tara. And just like Maya Davis, man, I mean, she really hadn't done anything in the World Series until reaching against Oklahoma. And then since then, that's seemingly sparked something for her.
Yeah. Again, I think Maya Davis is another player that we don't talk enough about. Again, Nyjah obviously gets a lot of it, and I've been so impressed with her leadership, and that was a clutch base hit. And obviously having struggles against Tegan Gavon. Tegan was really working the ball up and down in the zone, off speed, and Davis comes through with that bloop hit and gives Texas Tech the lead there. But you also felt, and I know a lot of people have said this, the game knows.
Mm-hmm.
You also felt like because they scored in that manner that something was going to happen. Like literally something was going to happen even after they scored.
Yeah, and so we go to the 6th inning. By the way, all of Texas's hits last night were with 2 outs, and they got a couple 2-out hits in the 6th from Caden Henry, from Mia Scott, the Mia Scott one. I don't know how. Please explain to me, Tara,
how did she touch that ball, right?
How did she have the barrel control to even get that in play, let alone make contact?
I mean, that's just so good. She's such an elite hitter. Her ability to decelerate and stay in the zone, well, knowing like she's probably on time for the hard, and her body is able to decelerate and figure out how to just make contact and get on base. But it all started with Caden Henry, and I thought she had a really, really good at bat, hitting the ball the opposite way, getting on first base, and then a first and third play. And I was thinking, are they going to first and third it? Like how this just felt like because of what had happened the inning before that something else was going to happen. And I know you were there, Grace. Like, what were you thinking when you saw this?
Honestly, I was like, all right, they've put it together. Like even if it's small bloopers like that, that's a success against Nyjah, right?
Anything.
Like, yeah, anything. Like it seemed like the tide had turned.
Yes. I can help with Tide puns.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, we're all Tide.
Yeah, I was curious what both of you thought about the initial intentional walk of Reese Atwood. Like the first pitch was a little shaky, but schematically, I'm sitting there thinking like, daggum, this is such a sign of respect to Reese that she is hitless in the Women's College World Series. You've got Nyjah in the circle, and you're intentionally walking her. Grace, that was what I was tweeting that as that at bat started.
I think a lot of people were a little bit confused because she was 0 for 10, but then I loved what Tegan Gavon said in the presser. I mean, it's Reese Atwood. She's 0 for 10, and they're still walking her. That just goes to say how much impact she can have in big moments.
Yeah. And then Tara, the 3-0 leaked over the plate.
Well, you know, it was interesting. I was actually watching the alternate cast and the broadcast at the same time, and Danielle Laurie, after the first pitch, she was like, oh, that is way too close. And like, you almost could feel like she could feel something was happening. Second pitch, she's like shaking her head. And once that happened, and I'm not quite sure why they weren't set up, like Vic wasn't set up on the left-handed batter's box.
She was set up in a regular position, just standing,
yes.
Which
right. So just a little bit further over, so she didn't have like give her a target that's not in Reese Atwood's bat path. But I do know, and I confirmed, I know Coach Singh gave Reese the green light to hit there. Because listen, you know that runs are going to be at a minimum on both sides of the ball. So if there's less velocity and Nyjah's just throwing the ball in there, why not? Like you're having trouble hitting Nyjah in the first place. So if you get a ball that's close to the plate, why not with one of the best hitters at the plate? Are you going to take a swing at it? And, you know, I've been a huge Reese fan for a really long time. And those that have been with us on this podcast know that I'm a huge Reese fan. And I just think, again, big players step up in big moments. And she knew she had to get it done. And that's all it took. And it was a 2 RBI single on an intentional walk.
As again,
wild.
Like how every day we see something we've never seen before. And let me shout out our friends at Synergy. This has been a thing before. Brady Vernon tweeted last night. He got me the video. Synergy, well done. They charted the whole thing. Shout out to Allison and the entire gang. This has been an issue before. Here's a video of, I'll see if I can turn the sound down on it and we can keep talking. Here is a video of Nyjah intentionally walking in couple right there. And with a lefty batter, who they walk, Jada Coleman. So that wasn't an issue then to a lefty batter, but to the righty batters, it's been a little bit of a problem for Nyjah. And frankly, we've seen that sometimes from righty pitchers before. I'll never forget when Sydney Littlejohn told me that arguably the hardest pitch for a righty is trying to intentionally walk a right-handed batter because you're having to bring it so far across, way more so than you normally do. But it was just an uncharacteristic mistake from Nyjah last night when you think about it. But also, it's happened before. So,
well, first
Texas
and
Capital.
foremost, she doesn't intentionally walk people, right?
Yeah.
I think that's her third intentional walk of her career.
3 years.
Her third.
One
right?
per season.
So number one, she doesn't really do that. But I love her in the presser. I love Nyjah Kennedy, the accountability, saying like, it's my fault. I should be able to do that. Like, there's no excuses. She knows that she can do it. Like, it's Nyjah Kennedy. She's going to go back to work and know that she just said it's unacceptable. But I know Jerry Glasgow had said, hey, we've thrown around players before. Right. So they weren't intentionally walking players like the stand up intentional walk, but they had been throwing around players before. And so it's almost like, okay, well, maybe you should have just done that. Like, if you're that accurate in knowing, how to throw around players, maybe not try to do an intentional walk in the biggest game of the year when you haven't really done it all year long. And that's the stuff that you're like, wow, like this actually happens at the highest level.
Yeah.
You're not practicing it all year long, and then you decide to do it in the biggest game. So, there's a few schools of thought there. But again, I love the accountability by Kennedy. And again, like, no excuses. She just takes ownership. And, they'll go forward from here. I feel like she's going to be throwing some gas tonight, though, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I think something that also is just so impressive is that Atwood waited until the fourth pitch. Like, the first and second ones were pretty close, but she waited for the 3-0 count, maybe to catch the Tech defense off guard. But that just also shows patience, too, from Atwood.
Well, I love this comment from Xavier. It's a great point. What's the story we're talking about if Reese hits it straight to a fielder and they get the out? What a gutsy swing. Like, Reese Atwood was very brave. I know she had the green light. I know what she's, we talked about it. Like, it's an easier pitch to go after than probably anything else Nyjah's going to throw at you. But it's still very brave when they're trying to give you a free base right then and there. And yeah, it worked out. But man, I just kudos to Reese Atwood for trusting her stuff and believing in herself and believing that she could take advantage of a mistake like she did.
Absolutely. And, there's a lot of portal talk in the chat, just so everybody knows that transfer portal on our site is updated pretty quickly. And Brady's got you covered over there. We'll go into some portal talk here in a little bit. There's just a lot of portal talk in the chat. So we'll get there in a little bit. We just wanted to give some love and really talk about what's happening right now. But we know the transfer portal stuff is really important to everybody. So we're going to get to that in a second.
Yeah. So that's the bottom of the sixth. So all of a sudden we blink and Texas Tech is down to their final 3 outs. The leadoff reaches on an error because, of course, that's how this game went. And then Texas Tech kind of bore down. There was, however, another situation with umpire interference on an Alana Johnson steal attempt. Because why not, Tara? Like, why not add to the list?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, why is the runner going back to first? Oh, umpire interference. So Reese hits the umpire on the throwdown. It almost hits, like, thank goodness Tegan was actually paying attention, because I don't know if you guys have seen this, but like that can be a little bit scary when your pitcher, it doesn't really know that the runner is stealing or there's a throwdown coming. So thank goodness she was paying attention, because she ended up catching it. But obviously we had catcher's interference in the first. Then we had obstruction, and then we had umpire interference. So then it was challenged. Then Texas challenged it.
Saying, I couldn't figure out what they were looking at there.
So it just, again, we had so many different things in this ball game, but I haven't seen umpire interference called in a long time.
Yeah.
Have you, Grace?
No. I found the rule and it was correct. They applied it right. But I did have, like, I've read the rule book. I never thought I needed to, like, give much real estate in my brain to umpire interference. I just kind of skimmed it when I read that rule book, however many months ago. And yeah, did a little reread last night. They got the rule right. I just can't believe we saw it in a game at the World Series.
I didn't even know it was umpire's interference till after the game. Like, I still was confused.
Yeah. The communication aspect, I still don't understand what Texas was reviewing.
I don't either.
Okay.
Yeah, they were exactly. Thank you. Batter interference. They were challenging, saying that the batter was interfering with the steal.
So if the batter interfered, would that mean the runner would have been out? So they were challenging. I see now.
Okay. Yeah, that was not in venue. That was not necessarily communicated to the people.
A lot was happening in that game one of the Champ Series.
Oh man, if that had been how game one had gone down, woof. There was one final ball in play. It was caught by Jolie Mitchell at first base. Texas wins 2-1. In a game, like we were laughing about it in the press box after, you could make the argument at whatever time that was, it should still be 0-0 and we should be going to the ninth inning. But just chaos reigned in a World Series, Tara, where chaos has truly controlled the narrative more or less.
Yeah, it's been chaos, but it's also been just incredible softball. Like I really, people are focusing on this negative and the chaos and the umpires, but like, can't you all just admit that this is like potentially been the greatest World Series in terms of entertainment value?
Oh. I say chaos, I'm not saying it in a bad way.
Not you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about on social media. Like there's all this, talk about it. Like, I don't know how you can't say that this is one of the most entertaining World Series we've ever seen. The closest games, the amount of walk-offs, the performances, the clutch moments down to the last out. Like, I am so happy that we are a part of this sport, and I'm so happy where we're at. Yes, do we need to fix a few things? Of course. We can always be better. But, gosh, if you don't love softball, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to talk to you. Yeah, I'm saying it.
Cut off. Oh, and now we get ready for game two. Any other thoughts on game one, Grace? Any final takeaways from Texas 2, Texas Tech 1, besides me correctly predicting the final score for our graphic?
He did predict
Got
it.
that one right.
I
missed all my other picks yesterday. Sorry, go ahead.
There was a moment in the bottom of the seventh where I thought Tech could come back right now. Glasgow pitch hit German for Valdez, and she was wearing number 12, and I was like, what could happen if she was wearing number 12? I know 12 has been so impactful number for Jerry Ann and his room number and the 12 seed. I was like, that would be pretty cool right now.
That was also ball 4, but neither here nor there. That wasn't a strikeout, but it was called a strikeout. So yeah, I did. That's a good catch.
It was in the back of my head.
There was a moment where
I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also he burned Valdez, right? So she couldn't come back in if they were to tie it up there. So
yeah,
just so much happened in game one. I think Texas Tech probably learned a ton. And that's where I said a couple days ago, I think Texas has that experience. And obviously when you face that adversity, you've been there before. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but I think, the more that you're there to be the first, to get that feeling, to play that first championship series game, there's something to that. And they're going to learn and they're going to get better. And again, I think we're going to see a different ball game today.
Yeah.
They just looked like a completely different team from last year. They felt like much more relaxed. I was watching the alternate broadcast and they were eating funnel cakes in the dugout before the game. Like they were just having fun out there while also competing.
Yeah. And now we get ready for game 2. Same bat time, same bat channel tonight. We've also still got the alt cast. We'll be there. It'll be a lot of fun. Tara, do we get the same pitching matchup?
Yeah, I think so. I don't see how Kennedy doesn't start this thing. She's thrown every single inning. There's no way that Kennedy doesn't start. I don't know. On the Texas side, I think you could potentially go to Mac Morgan again. Down ball, keeps the ball in the yard, and she had a really nice start for the Longhorns. So we could see Mac Morgan. We could see Sit Lolly. We could. I don't know. Do you get Cambria Salmon some Women's College World Series experience? But I think if it's not Kavan, I think we'll see Morgan.
I agree. Nyjah for sure, no doubter. Elimination game. I think we might see Morgan. Kind of the same strategy White had before. We throw Morgan until she has her best stuff, they start picking up on her, and then maybe we see Kavan come in after.
I think it's the Tennessee game strategy. I think you'll see Mac Morgan start, probably go 3 or 4 innings, depending on amount of trouble, and then bring in Teagan to slam the door. That feels.
I agree.
We've seen it, so we have the evidence. Mike White has the evidence that it works. Coaches are creatures of habit. If something works, they're going to do it all the time. I would almost assume that that's the plan tonight.
And also, like, it's Mac's senior year. She's talked about how she wants to go out, give it her all, end out on a bang.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tara.
No, I was going to say, Cheyenne was saying 7 innings is so fun. I watched both because I left. We've got a lot of travel ball stuff that's coming up here for Softball America, and we're getting some stuff together for some player profiles now that Rivals and On3. So On3 bought Rivals. So those of you that know about the recruiting site, we'll be now having Rivals profiles for all softball players and athletes. So we're going to start rolling that out at summer ball tournaments. So I was able to watch the game from home, and I do recommend putting on the alt cast and the broadcast. I think it's really cool to experience both. I loved when Amanda picked the ball up. They were talking about the blister. They were just having a really fun time. So again, I think that was cool. And then I don't know if you guys saw Coach Gasso's interview, but she did her interview from her dog room, and her dog made an appearance, Girl, on the show, which to me, I mean, how can you not love Coach Gasso anymore? Like, she has a dog and the dog's name is Girl. Like, I just, that part was incredible. So I do recommend that you have both. So have them on every single screen, every TV you've got, put the game on and make sure that you're watching it.
I have not, Tara, gone back to watch the entire alt cast. Did Madison Shipman whip out her rule book? I know she had it.
I don't believe she whipped out the rule book, but they were talking about it a lot. And I just, again, Brie Ellis was on there, the Bruin Bombers, and they're calling them Bash Brothers, Bruin Bombers. Jordan Woolery and Megan Grant were on there as well. So I was really a cool supplement to the show, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it was great. It was great. You guys have got to go back and watch the Gasso part. It was incredible. She also talked about how she had ended the careers of some of them that were on the stage, and their greatest Patty moments. And then Patty even remembered Amanda pitching with the helmet when Amanda had a concussion. And they talked about that. It was really, really good fun. So yeah, head on over there. Make sure you have that on today. And I believe they're doing a pregame show as well. So an hour before.
Yeah, that's awesome. Catch Halo and Tori Vidalis and Alyssa Lang as well on SC Network post game. So all the coverage, all available. Shall we get to a lot of people's favorite part? Weirdly specific predictions. Like, people are all up in the chat about the weirdly specific predictions.
Wait, I thought we were going to about transfer. I think that's even more important than the weirdly specific.
Well, we're talking about the game, so I was going to finish the game and then go to transfers. Grace, do you have anything?
Oh, I should have prepared.
Well, you knew it was coming.
I did. Okay, come back to me.
Okay, I'll go. I think we get a total of 4 double plays today.
Wow.
In the game, 4 double plays.
4 double plays. Wow.
I think we see a home run robbery.
Ooh.
Okay. I like it. Tara?
I think we see 2 home runs.
Ooh, by the same team?
I don't know, just 2 in general.
Just 2 in general.
2 in general.
Okay, now, anything else on game 2
Brady,
tonight?
Do you have a prediction?
Brady, you got anything? Brady says Nyjah is hitting a home run in the first inning.
In the first inning.
The first inning.
That means some runs are going to be scored very early.
Man, Brady. All right. Brady is hard at work over at the side table here at Softball America HQ because there is a lot going on, as we mentioned. We will dive a little bit into the portal of it all. You can check out the website right now. Brady's got articles cranked for Mia Williams, Caitlin Terry, a lot of things in the hopper. The portal tracker, Tara, has been adjusted constantly over the last, how long has it been? Month, I guess, since the portal opened thereabouts? little less than a month.
There's like an actual transfer portal wire on the site. So you guys can head on over there and see when actual players enter the portal. And then some predictions as to where they're going. And Brady, I don't know if you want to hop on here and talk a little bit about transfers, but I think the people want it. And you don't have, I mean,
he's coming.
He's
right.
bringing his chair.
Great.
Pitch Perfect style.
I love this.
Come join me. Ow. Come join me, my friend.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Taking my break of entering portal trackers. But yes, so on TransferWire, everyone can see when people go in. And then members exclusively will see any predictions, anything we hear intel-wise. If I make a prediction for a commitment that we know about, it will be on the discussion board, which is through the dugout. But that is member only. So another great reason why to have a membership to Softball America, especially during the summertime. And once the classes get going, we'll have a lot of synergy stuff to see how they form into the teams. But yeah, a lot of great stuff. I will say not every single girl is in the wire right now. I have a full list on the discussion board just because these profiles do take that, but I always try to keep updated with everyone. And if you have questions, that's always the place to find me, as I only make guest appearances on the podcast from time to time.
In full Dolphins regalia.
It's just a normal
Brady,
day.
Biggest surprise in the portal the last couple days for you?
Well, I know the general public was a little bit surprised about yesterday and Caitlin Terry's announcement, but sometimes at the World Series, we hear a lot of chatter about certain things that come through and where these individuals might end up anyways, because it's a new day and age where the portal is hot in every sport and especially in softball as well. And so I think that one was obviously a surprise to many who weren't maybe in the known or known through those parts. But I think everyone needs to understand that, once these travel ball tournaments go on, like that's sometimes where the deals are made. And, that's just the life of softball these days.
Question from Roach. So are the schools with percentages next to it just predictions, or are they backed by any facts? Thanks for the question, Roach.
So they will have interest. I can't control the percentages. With the On3 system, if the interest that I put in, it's based by the hometown of the individual. So for instance, like if someone is from Texas and they have an interest from Texas, Texas will be automatically one. I can set an interest higher if I know that the individual has visited there or is just leaning that way. But if you see something where it is close to 100 or around 100, that either means there's only one interest that I know of, or I've just made a prediction. But every time I say I've made a prediction, it will be on the discussion board, and we've had a lot of conversations. I think there's 3 pages to talk there with other individuals and members.
I didn't do that. I'm sorry, Brady. Keep going. Grace? I'm just kidding.
What'd I do?
Nothing. You didn't. Keep going.
So the percentages can be a little bit finicky, but I'm getting more into it and trying to understand it myself, because this is still new to me this year as well. But generally, yes, they are conversations I've heard from various people about schools that have reached out. The individual wants them to reach out, has visits, and just where other people believe that they might end up, just based off a fit. And you will see a lot of the same teams, because there are certain teams that have more NAL money to spend and really want to work the portal this offseason.
I'm going to be honest, Tara. I was just checking my list as well, because I get my list from Brady's list and a couple other places. Twitter, the softball portal, Twitter, everything. And I'm going to be honest.
You get them from other places? I only get mine from Brady.
Look, the kids tweet. I see the kids tweets, the children gram and whatnot. And I don't want to be like Brady, look up this girl's Instagram for me. I can do it myself. I haven't seen any insane surprise. In terms of stuff that we hear, we all, because Brady's exactly right. The word gets around in OKC. You hear things all the time. There hasn't, in my opinion, been a stone cold stunner as of yet. I think maybe people are kind of surprised. I'm a little surprised at what's gone down at Arizona and how many people have left there. But otherwise, I feel like there's been some warning on a lot of this before some of these kids have gone in.
Well, for us,
yeah,
which
for us,
generally that's what we have to like understand, that
right.
Like a lot of people do get shocked by that, and it's also somewhat being credible to the individuals that do want to wait. You know, it's the reality that I know some people like in other sports want to be the first to break news and such, but I just, to me, I don't think that's a spot where we need to be doing that. I would like the girls to at least be officially in the portal, and, you know, therefore it's something that's safe. And I also wanted people to understand that when you see a mass number of kids leave a certain school, I think you have to understand that, you know, which ones left right out of their exit meetings that, you know, didn't get an opportunity to play, compared to maybe, you know, there might be a better opportunity out there. They might be searching for something in their senior year. And so just be aware when you're like, oh, mass exit is here or there, that, you know, these kids, a lot of those kids may not have ever played at that school and are looking to play somewhere else.
And when there is a situation like that, they're all not leaving for the same reasons. So, like, again, you don't know what's going on at home. You don't know what. Agreed. Yes.
For me, here's the one thing about the transfer portal that I think we need to actually get out on the table and discuss. People talk about, you know, players leaving and transferring and getting contacted mid-season. Like, we know this is happening. Like, everybody knows it's happening. Coaches know it's happening. They're complaining about it. Again, let's figure out how to make it above board. So if a player wants to transfer mid-season, if they have an agent, if they have a club coach, if they have a parent that is contacting the school, they should have to go through like the MLBPA does. Like, at some point, you need a second baseman, you need a pitcher, you need a catcher, you need an outfielder. Okay, great. I'm going to go through the proper channels. I'm going to contact this school and say, hey, we're going to open up a conversation. Like, I don't know why we're at this point thinking that this is still amateur. Like, we're now treating these athletes like professionals. So at this point, coaches, you're going to sit there and say, oh, these summer ball coaches, well, you're giving them all the power. If a coach has to then contact the school, and let's say you don't, and then you're getting given a 10 to 15 game suspension, you think you're going to do that again? You think your mom's going to do that? Your dad's going to do that? Your club coach is going to do that? Oh, and guess what? We're going to slap on a $15,000 fee. And guess where that fee's going to go? It's going to go from the school that is doing it, and it's going to go to the school that they're trying to take the player from.
Like, and with budgets the way they are now, teams are going to cut it instantly if a certain amount of cash is coming out of their list or whatever it's called.
So, like, we're all hiding behind this thing and like knowing what it is, but like, let's just get it out on the table and figure out how to do it the right way, and figure out how to make it so that it's fair across the board, because we all know it's happening, and nobody, again, we're waiting for it. It happens in football, it happens in basketball, and now it's getting to the sport of softball, and it's real, and it's impacting the players, it's impacting the programs, it's impacting the coaches. And I have no problem with a player going to get money, and well knowing that they're going to have their ability to earn is not as great as, say, a football player or a basketball player or a baseball player. So I have no problem with that, but let's just do it above board and figure out a way to do it. And at this point in time, like, let's figure out, because it's crazy. It is the wild, wild west out there. And Brady, you referenced it at these club summer ball tournaments. That's where the deals are happening. And let's just put it out there. Like, we know it's happening. So let's figure out a way to change it.
I agree. Also, ledger. That was the word, not ledger. That's where I was trying to go with that. What you got, Brady?
Nothing. Just trying to go back to work now.
Okay. When Brady doesn't talk or answer anything, it's like he's like, oh, it's not going to change, or they've gone through this in baseball, or they've gone through this in football. Like, Brady, I want to hear your opinion, because I think it's really important, and the people want to hear your opinion too.
Well, I share my opinion a lot on the discussion board for our members.
Company man.
Go back to work, Brady. That's why Brady does what he does. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Bye, Brady. Yes, look, we do need to figure all this out, and it sucks. The part that sucks, Tara, and I know we've talked about this, is when we hear about a kid going in the portal, and we're pretty sure we already know where she's going to go before she's even gone in the portal. Like, that just, it all feels so slimy, and if people know, they need to report it.
But again, like, take action. Like, I know it's difficult and it's hard, and being in that position as a coach or a player, it's a difficult position to be in. And I think that's the hard part about it. And again, we opened up Pandora's box with this whole thing, and it just started so fast, and now we're just trying to figure out how to recover from it, and to figure out a way to do the right thing. And I think, I don't envy, like, I was talking to some coaches, like, I was like, I don't envy you right now. This is tough. This is a tough, difficult landscape to be in. It's a dog eat dog world. And hopefully there can be some parameters, salary caps.
And we're still waiting to see what the House case leads to. And trust me, Softball America peeps, when that is dropped, Tara, we're going to do like a whole thing. I don't know who all we're going to call, probably some lawyers and compliance people and coaches. We're going to do like a big explainer for what that means for the general public, because frankly, that's like the last thing we're all waiting on. Every university is waiting to make certain moves, every coach, every booster, every donor. There are a lot of monetary figures that are being thrown out right now that in a month might not be legal based on what the decisions are from this judge who's currently sifting through all this information. So stand by. Once the House case comes out, once all of that is out in the open, we'll have a show about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, we're all waiting for that. And I just go back to, like, if you're a player and you're going to have to sit out a certain amount of games if there's an infraction, I think people are going to be less likely to do what they're doing right now. And again, I think they need to go back to the drawing board and really figure this out, because our game's going into a manner that it's tough to watch and see it. Again, I keep equating it to the Wild Wild West, but that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a second game of the Champ Series tonight. Anything else you want to say about the portal, about Game 2, Tara, before we wrap?
No, again, Brady's got everything updated on the site. So head on over to the discussion board. There's a lot that happens over there, and we'll keep you up to date. And then, again, I hope you turn on the game tonight and enjoy it. As we finish up here the next couple of days with college softball, we'll be heading to some travel ball tournaments. So we'll give you that schedule as well. So we're out there looking at the next generation of players, because that's what it's all about. And want to thank Grace for joining us today. Make sure you guys all follow Grace on social media. She's out there covering the Women's College World Series for us, and has been a huge addition to our staff. And I know she makes Brady's days easier as well, and Gray's and mine. So appreciate you. And Gray, thank you for holding the fort down and keeping us all together here. And hopefully you all have enjoyed what we've been able to do this season. We'll have two more shows and a final. Once the final's done, we'll do that, and then we'll have a final year in review. And then we'll get into some travel ball stuff and pro stuff.
That's right.
AUSL.
That's right. Anything you want to say, Grace, before we wrap?
Thanks for having me, and I love softball.
Who doesn't? Honestly. Yeah, so if it ends tonight, at some point, we will go live this evening, not for super long, but just kind of a reaction, probably 20, 30 minutes. If Texas wins tonight and we have a national champion. If we don't, then we'll see you tomorrow for Good Morning Softball America from somewhere for Game 3 of Texas Tech and Texas. Go check out all the content. We got 1 million videos up on YouTube. My Michelle Smith interview came up yesterday. Even though we did it before Championship Series Game 1, a lot of things in that interview could be applied to Championship Series Game 1. So check it out. Michelle was great. Watch the broadcast. Turn on all the TVs to all the different channels. And join us next time on Good Morning Softball America. For the great Grace Johnson, for the totally tubular Tara, I'm Gray Robertson, saying so long. Thanks to Brady, too. We'll see you next time on GMSA.